scrapped plans to bring back the corporate ministry have been revealed. Plus, a top AEW team are not on good terms. And we have a big update on the return of Captain Insano. It's all in the wrestling news right now. Right, as a fan of a certain vintage, I was buzzing when I heard about Karrion Kross on his conversation with NBC Sports. Yeah. About something we nearly got.
Very nearly.
Buzzing. Ministry of Darkness. When I become the corporate ministry in 1999. One of my favourite factions ever. Whenever I chat with my brothers about wrestling, Ministry of Darkness always comes up. It was very, very cool. Karrion Kross agrees. He told NBC Sports, I had ideas about bringing back the corporate ministry. Ooh. That was one of my final ideas that I had. I had a series of writers on board for that who thought it was a very good idea. I thought pitching those ideas would be cool because there's some nostalgia to it. You know, with all these crazy conspiracy theories that are always going around about esoteric businesses
He's getting there.
And stuff like that, and cults and evil companies. I thought there would be a tasteful way to fictionalize that type of stuff and put it back on TV with a nostalgic twist.
Ooh.
Now, obviously, those plans never happened because they went, we hear your idea for the corporate ministry, and that's lovely. Here's a purple helmet, get out there and do a wrestle.
It's such a shame because we had little hints of something exciting, right? Do you remember when he was doing the promos backstage? He had his suit on. It felt very Sean O'Hare, and we were like, "Oh, is this gonna go somewhere? Is this gonna go somewhere exciting?" And then it was Gimp time, everybody.
Just realised it was a red helmet, wasn't it?
Yes, it was a red helmet.
Purple helmet is something very different.
Very different.
Very different type of thing. Okay, let's have a little bit of fun with this.
Yeah.
If Karrion Kross had got his wish, and in 2022 we were creating the corporate ministry, in WWE, who's going in it?
I would have loved to have had, because at that point it felt like we had a lot of NXT call-ups, right, and a lot of them kind of just fell flat, and I really wanted to see Karrion Kross head up like this faction of NXT misfits. Ooh. And then Triple H be like the main person as like the sort of the puppeteer in this whole ordeal.
That's the corporate part. And the ministry part is like, make it a bit spooky.
Yeah.
Karrion Kross. Who else would? So
I'd have put. I think at that time probably Keith Lee, maybe Ricochet in there as well. Nice. I want to see a bit of snarl, a bit of darkness behind Keith Lee. I think that would have been exciting to see.
I'd like that a lot. I think Tommaso Ciampa would have been a nice fit for a corporate ministry type affair. I think do you know what? Hoist some names in the comments below who you reckon would have made a brilliant corporate. Could I be in the corporate ministry?
Well, you can be in the corporate ministry, but I'm asking who would you like?
Oh, Ciampa's the one that jumped straight out to me. Dominic Dijakovic.
Absolutely.
A sort of retooling of him would have been really great in a faction like that with Karrion Kross there as well. I love the idea of, you could just take some people who maybe you wouldn't essentially think are spooky characters and kind of make them so. I'm trying to think who that would be. Stick them in the comments.
Stick them in the comments, everybody.
I've suddenly forgotten all the wrestlers.
Let's have a field day.
Can we bring back Dennis Knight for a bit? That'd be nice. Let's bring back Midian.
Please. Can we bring back Midian?
But make him like the ultimate master in the Dungeon of Doom.
Yeah.
Sullivan, my son!
Get Kevin Thorne in there.
Kevin Thorne!
Gangrel.
Damien Priest.
Oh my God.
Here we go. We're getting there now.
Itself, Tom.
It does right itself. There is no writing currently happening for the women's tag team titles, though. What's the score here?
So Fightful are saying that WWE announced the following week that the titles were held up, with a tournament happening in the future. However, since then, no word of such has emerged. Talent that we've spoken to said that they've received no word of when or if the tag team title tournament will actually happen. Even beyond that, they claim that they've heard no discussion regarding the tag team titles whatsoever since that announcement. Oh dear, Tom.
It's weird because we've got NXT Women's Tag Team Champions.
Yes.
Albeit they don't like each other now.
No.
I hope they can coexist. But that, which means they're the only. It's weird how like the developmental brand one of the developmental brands has a women's tag team division, but the main roster doesn't.
Yeah.
Like, I like the fact that the NXT women's tag was brought in as a way to sort of, build a women's tag division to move up to the main roster.
Yeah.
But now, what is there to compete for if you were a women's tag team?
There's nothing.
There's nothing further than the NXT one. I think they have to bring it back at some point.
I think they have to, right? And I think that there could be some stock in sort of just having one set of women's tag team titles in which NXT's tag teams can move up to the main roster, and it can like flip flop back and forth.
Because they did that during the pandemic. It was Sasha Banks and Bayley, and they turned up on Raw, SmackDown, NXT. Like, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, me too. I think, and that gives you then more options, doesn't it? As well, more variety of what you can do with these belts, rather than having like such a dwindling tag team division on the main roster and trying to shoehorn these titles in there somehow, usually as a crutch to sort of get over the next feud or whatnot. It's a shame. I mean, obviously, with there being no update and no discussion regarding the tag team titles whatsoever, it just goes to show how much stock WWE had in their tag team division, in their women's tag team division, and it wasn't a lot. It's not a lot. And we'll see what happens. I wouldn't be surprised if we do see the NXT tag team titles and the main roster women's titles merging together to form some sort of unified thing where you can challenge back and forth. But it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good for the women's tag team championships on the main roster at the moment.
And it doesn't look good for Santana and Ortiz in AEW. We spoke the other week about there being some concerns about a sort of fractious relationship between those two. And Conan on Keeping It 100 has confirmed Santana and Ortiz are, quote, not on good terms. Now, he didn't go into too much detail other than to confirm what Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful and other sources have been saying, that there is tension between the two, with Santana counting down the days left on his AEW contract to presumably go off and pursue his own thing. This is a shame because this is a team that have had some absolute bangers. Not just in AEW, but as part of the new LAX in Impact Wrestling. They're such a great team, and it hurts when you have a team like that who don't see eye to eye.
I know they've been synonymous with one another, right, for the best part of 10 years, I think, at this point now, and decorated champions in a lot of companies that they've been to, but not in AEW. Like, it would have been such a wonderful moment to see them win the AEW Tag Team titles. And I mean, who knows what could happen? They very well could down the line. We don't know what's going on just yet. But yeah, it's a real shame. You know, sometimes we get certain tag teams that decide, I want to kind of do this and branch off on my own and do my own thing. We don't know the extent of what's happening behind the scenes and whatnot. But I really do hope we get to see them together, and we do get to see them win the AEW Tag Team titles.
Tell you who I hope to see.
Who?
Captain Insano.
Oh my God.
What's the latest on this then? So Paul Wight, who was in The Waterboy, played the wrestler Captain Insano.
He did indeed.
There was talk a while ago about him bringing the gimmick back. He's given us an update in a chat with Wrestling Inc.
He has. He says, the guy who wrote The Waterboy has approved. Tony Khan and I have secured the rights to Captain Insano. There's already an outfit made, the whole 9 yards. We're doing a lot of prep work, and this will be my last hurrah, so to speak. He goes on to say, let's be honest, I don't think this character is going to be a killer going out there trying to beat Jon Moxley for the AEW World Championship. Book it, you cowards. At this point, I think this character is just to have fun. We'll see how it goes, but for me right now, this is just a chance to have fun with this character and be a bright spot on the show. We'll see how I'm feeling, and we'll see how everybody takes off with it. And if there's one thing, Tom, right? Captain Insano knows no mercy, right? So Captain Insano can beat Jon Moxley in a slobber knocker and win the AEW World Championship. I'm putting it out there now.
Make that a thing.
Please do.
You absolute cowards. Killer Kelly in the news this week. She signed with Impact Wrestling. She signed 2 years ago, and then the world caught fire.
It did.
So what's she been doing? We had a chat, Killer Kelly and I. Desert Island Graps tonight. nearly 2 hours. Me and Kelly.
2 hours?
Killer Kelly had a lovely chat about everything. She's really open about mental health. She recently got diagnosed with ADHD, and she talks extensively about that, about some of the darker points in between jobs. She talks about leaving NXT UK and some of her experiences and feelings heading away from that, and of course all the excitement bubbling up heading back to work to be a part of Impact Wrestling. That's a brand new Desert Island Graps on the podcast feed later today, and if you're a Patreon, you can watch it as well at patreon.com/Cultaholic. Anything you need to plug?
I should be finishing up on the next Lost Wrestling Media episode. Hopefully it should be done by the weekend. We'll see when it goes out. Don't know when it's going to go out. Perhaps at the weekend, perhaps next week. Who knows? Only Adam Pacitti knows when that will be. But we're very much getting towards the end of it, so please look out for that. And don't forget to check out the previous ones as well.
Any clues as to what this one is about? Spoiling it?
It's about, right, a legendary wrestler and a documentary that was going to be made about them that got scrapped and turned into something else.
Oh, there's your little sneaky cheeky preview. That'll be on the YouTube channel at some point, fingers crossed. Ooh. And you'll have more wrestling news throughout the day at cultaholic.com. Keys.
Love you, bye.